Hey guys, still here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Last time around I put out once again the call for scenarios and the one by Skulljaeger got the most upvotes. He says, I made something. USA against Japan and you will play as the USA. The Americans attack the defense fleet of an island fortress. The American fleet will consist of older ships, around Tech 1935. I will have one battleship, 2 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers. The construction specifications for the battleship indicate that a dreadnought hull must be used. The Japanese can only use slightly modified ships from World War I, so I set them to 1920, and they will be compensating for their lack of technology by just having flat out a lot more ships. They'll have 4 battleships, 5 heavy cruisers, 4 light cruisers, and 6 torpedo boats. The problem here is there are no torpedo boat hulls for Japan in 1920. So unfortunately, I had to replace those with a couple of destroyers. And since torpedo boats are slightly more numerous, but easier to kill, I just decided to go for slightly fewer destroyers. So they got 4 destroyers from that. Alright, engagement range was not specified, so I've set this to 15,000. The Japanese have 4 times more battleships than I do. 1 battleship versus 4. So the battleship's going to have to probably carry this whole operation and make sure that these battleships are not going to pose too much of a threat to the heavy cruisers and the light cruisers. Design. I have to be using a Dreadnought hull. That would be Dreadnought 4 then. That severely limits the amount of options that I get. What do I want on here? There was no mention of displacement limitations or budgeting limitations, so that means that I can probably just build whatever I want. I'm going to try and get 4 turrets on the ship. Fairly big guns as well. Let's see, it's 1935. I can go 18 inch if I want to. They reload in 83 seconds currently, and now they reload in 50 seconds. What are the higher Mark guns? 12 inch, Mark 5? See, I like the 18 inch guns, but they will be exceptionally heavy, and, well, they won't fit on the little, I wouldn't really call it a barbette, but the little lifty thing there. Let's see, 12 inch I guess then. Reloads in 22 seconds. Fair amount of pen. 15,000 meter range. Deck armor, pens 8.3 inches or 14.8 inches. Let's go dual barrel. Oh, what? That doesn't fit? Okay, well, that requires a redesign then. Because that means that I might have to try and squeeze that gun all the way out there. Oh, come on now. Are you going to tell me that I need a huge barbette for that? For a 12 inch. I think that's a bit extreme. No, see, that doesn't even fit either. Okay. So arguably, the standard barbette should be enough. 12 inch, copy that one. There you go. Now I just need to try and squeeze the rear tower between the main and the second. That doesn't work. That does. Okay. Now as for the ship itself, the Pennsylvania, let's go for 60,000 tons, because that should give me a bit more deck room. I'm going to give myself quite a few advantages here because I am severely outnumbered 4-1. 28 knots, range to medium. Let's go for geared steam turbines 2 so I get a bit more engine power. Forced boilers, oil, auxiliary diesel engine. Let's go for advanced propeller shaft 3 so I can do advanced or better turns. Grip 4, barbette. Well, I detonated previously, so let's go for barbette 4. Anti-torpedo max. Last time around that cost me the ship. In the fight at the Bismarck. Anti-flooding 1. Citadel, all or nothing. Shells. These are going to cost me 5% shell penetration. But they'll also cut down on my reload time. And if I then use, what was it, 2 powder, I think? I get another 10.5% shell penetration. So that kind of evens each other out. So now my reload is down to 15.8 seconds, which is really quick. Really quick. Okay, nice. Last time around on the Bismarck, I think that might have also helped, or not helped. I had increased shell rounds, and that caused my ammo to detonate, or at least the chance of it to go up. So now I'm going to go with standard amount of shells. Torpedoes, maybe. They'd be sitting really high above the water, though. Underwater tubes. If I have to use this, something's gone wrong. But it wouldn't be the first time that a torpedo launcher has saved me. Let's just first set up this. I'm 1935, so let's go for stereoscopic 4. I know that I have access to stereoscopic 5, but I think that for 1935, it's a bit unfair to be using that, especially since they're limited to 1920. Radio, advanced. Somebody was asking, hey, doesn't the advanced or the RDF have radar built in? Yes, but communications range is also important. The more communications range you have, the easier it is for your ships around you to communicate with the flagship and get the bonuses that the flagship provides. So that's why I went with the advanced or RDF and radar on top of that. What sort of secondaries do I need? How much displacement? I have a lot of displacement left. Let's go for funnels first. Tall funnel. Jeez, that thing is enormous. How much funnel capacity does that give me? Enough? 94.6 engine efficiency. So I have enough. That's good. Now, secondary guns. If I can put a secondary gun up here of a fairly decent caliber, then I can at least have a defense against, let's say, the cruisers, but potentially also against their destroyers. So an 8-inch there. Is there any chance I could put another secondary barbette? Yeah, over there. Hold on. What? I didn't know that was a thing. Spin it right around. And then try and fit that barbette in there. Yes, it fits. Ish. Jesus, how does that not get top heavy? Does this actually work? I guess. This is going to be an amusing ship. I got a lot of good coverage out of these 8-inch guns. Right, how about my casemate guns? Because I have casemates, I might as well use them. Let's put a bunch of 6-inch around. 10.6 kilometer engagement range. Reloads in 5.3 seconds. Mostly there to keep the destroyers off my back. And not just completely overload the ship with displacement either. There. Displacement 50 out of 60. Some guns have poor firing angles. You don't say. Probably this one. But I really think it's amusing that this actually fits. I can actually move that farther back. Are you kidding? Hold on. I do think it's hilarious that you can do something like that. It's like some designer fell asleep halfway or said, hey, can I copy your homework? Sure, but just make sure it looks a little different than mine. Yeah, and then they came up with that. I can imagine this is going to piss a lot of people off, so that's good. Alright, how about a few torpedo tubes? I don't need tons of them. Just a few. And I have absolutely no real expectations for the survivability of said torpedo tubes. Because more often than not, they just get blown off the deck immediately because they're completely unarmored. Can I fit them above here? No, not in there. Yeah, there. So I got a pretty well defended ship right now. I got 8-inch tall secondaries, which have great fields of fire. I got my casemate guns. I have torpedo tubes. What else would I like? Because I still have quite a nice amount of deck space here. Maybe another couple of 6-inch dual barrels. Again, to make sure that I can keep those ships off of me. These guys carry 400 ammo per gun. I reload in 7 seconds. So I fire 9 shells per minute. Okay, that'll keep them going for quite a while. These things, 200. I fire 4 shells per turret per minute. I'm just checking if I have enough ammo. I'm not sure what those heavy cruisers are going to be carrying. And I generally don't trust the AI skills, so I'm going to have to go with increased shell storage anyway. I don't like it, because it means that another one of those ammo detonations is just waiting to happen. Let's go for anti-flood too. Try and get the ship as best protected as I can against ammo detonations. Torpedo tubes, 22-inch. Yeah, electric tubes, or electric torps. Minus 87.5% torpedo detection chance, or range, and 50% torpedo accuracy. Range, 12.9. Reloads in 240 seconds, so 4 minutes. I got one launcher there and another launcher there. A double, that is. Since I might have to go in for the Braugh, I will bring these. Just to make sure that I have, let's say, a fairly quick way of getting rid of enemy shipping. And maybe just start piling on the armor. I still have so much displacement left. I wonder how much I need to shrink the ship down. Because the last thing I want to do is shrink it down and lose my deck space. Because I really like the amount of secondaries that I have. And considering what I'm going to be up against, I think I might very well need that. 8-inch on the secondaries. Let's go for 8-inch on the turret top. Can we go for 9-inch of deck armor? And then 7-inch of deck extended. That gives me another 1,700 tons to play with. I could put a torpedo tube there. It doesn't even cut into the... Yeah, I think this could work. Hold on, you can even try to fire to the other side? Are you nuts? You're going to launch a torpedo over my deck to the other side. I, for one, don't think that's a good idea. Can I put you slightly farther here? Yeah, he doesn't like that, though. This is not too bad. It allows me to put another couple of larger launchers up here. Don't go doing any weird stuff and try to fire over the shoulder or over the whole deck towards the other side. I don't like that. Not at all. Port weight offset, 0.3. It's because this turret's still in the way. Starboard weight offset, 0.8. Who? Port weight offset. There we go, now I'm balanced again. Okay, so bring on the 6-inch guns again. One here. And one there. This one... No, it tried to fire over the side of the ship, over the middle section, but it can't do it. And then just see if I can fit a couple of quintuples in here. Still don't like how the game actually turns one, but leaves the other facing outwards. Let's see if I can clean the design up a little. Carefully not to move the gun too much. Come on. There you go. Oh. That's it. Right. The torpedo tubes here. Oh, come on now. No, they're going to be like that. They don't want to be turned. Fine, so be it. 4 weight offset, 1.4, 0.7, 0.5, 0.5. And maybe if I shift this one slightly farther out, I can perfectly balance her out. There we go. 0.1. That I can live with. That I can live with. Alright. A bit more armor, and then we're good to go. He said as he casually added another inch of armor, or 2 inches of armor to the belt. Maybe a bit more of the deck. Can we go 8? Yes. Turrets, conning towers. I have a decent amount of secondaries, which I really would like to survive. 8. Ooh, look at that. 60,000 tons used out of 60,000 tons available. Let's go. Balance. I really wonder what sort of escorts I'm going to be getting. Because it's always up to the AI what they decide to give you. Stop. Heavy cruisers, Maryland and Frederick. 8-inch guns. Jesus, a lot of them. Well, it's a nice break from tradition with the whole let's go 6-inch guns that the heavy cruisers had in the previous vids. Torpedo tubes, firing out to a range of 8 clicks. 62.5 knots, so these are the fast tubes, or the fast torps. Lots and lots and lots of secondaries of 2-inch and a bunch of 3-inch. Alright, so that's the heavy cruisers. Moving on to the light cruisers, Pasadena and Phoenix. 6-inch guns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 turrets, times 2 guns each. That's a good amount of firepower to use against destroyers. Reloads in 10 seconds. 3-inch secondaries and 1 torpedo tube on the bow for a range of 8.1 kilometers. The enemy has been detected. The defensive force around the fortress. At least that's as Skulljaeger put it. I'm thinking this is a heavy cruiser. This looks a lot more like a battleship. With lots and lots and lots of guns. I do wonder how they're going to intend to fire this one here. That seems like it's, well, challenging, to say the least. Destroyers all the way in the back. I like that. Whoa. How many funnels would you like on your ship? Yes. What the hell did you build? What the hell did you build? Alright. I want the heavy cruisers to fall in behind my ship. Not screen, but follow. And I also want the light cruisers to be following behind the heavy cruisers. Pennsylvania, your target, should you wish to kill it, is going to be this incoming ship at high speed. Hold off on the torpedoes, because we do have heavy cruisers which could eat torpedoes, and they wouldn't be the first to get hit by friendly torps. Pennsylvania opens up. That is a lot of incoming fire. Looks like the Pennsylvania's damage control parties are going to get busy pretty soon. There we go, fire set to Pennsylvania. So far I've inflicted a few hits, but most of them bounced off. Hits, bounce, Hit. Damage to main tower. We already have the 8-inch guns firing. The 6-inch are going to need a bit more range. I really think that this setup of the secondaries is quite interesting. Just by, well, gaming the game, I guess. In a way that you rotate the secondary tower in a way that it normally shouldn't be. For those of you wondering, how do you rotate? When you're placing down something, press R. That's all that I'm doing. Just press R. I don't trust AP at this angle. Let's go for HE instead. Now the win condition, if the whole fleet is destroyed or if the Japanese retreat, only the torpedo boats may escape. So that would arguably be the destroyers in this case. I'm getting hit by 9-inch shells on the Pennsylvania. Identification is proceeding, albeit slowly. It almost looks like we have some curvature going on here. I guess that's just more... yeah, it's an optical illusion. Hold on, are you opening up? Compare the broadside with AP. Any friendlies in front? Light cruisers. I know I told you to start shielding... no, to start following the heavies, but you're not exactly doing it in a way that I had envisioned it for you to do. Not by charging the enemy. Range of my torpedoes was 12.9. Fire when accurate. At the heavy cruiser. Because if I look deep, there's a lot more to hit behind that heavy cruiser. Maybe this would be a better target for the torpedoes. Let's set them on aggressive. I want those torpedoes in the water. Just to start disrupting enemy formations. Is it too far away? It's 12.5. You can hit that at 12.9. Nice. There we are. Engines damaged and flooding. Let's see how effective the Japanese battle control or damage control parties are. Not very. Or I really tore a big what do you call that? I made a really big hole on the side of this ship. It's still flooding. Alright, that could be one heavy cruiser out of the fight. Torpedoes are still very reluctant to fire. Whoa, 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 Pasadena. Turn. At 36 knots. Oh dear. Yeah, that was bound to happen. I misplayed that. I had no idea it was going to go out that far. I mean, the secondaries against this unidentified funnel boat destroyer. Ah, we got him identified. Sanosawa. 9-inch guns, few bulkheads. Yeah, that lines up with the amount of damage that it just took from flooding. We got the Asama as well, 9-inch guns as well. Yonen, Chokai. Battleships are still working on identification. Pasadena is not terribly likely to survive. Phoenix, turn, turn, turn. Follow the Maryland. Don't screen, follow. It might actually be easier just to add these guys to the division for the battleship. Pennsylvania's lead ship, follow the Pennsylvania. Hello, Pennsylvania. Who is the lead ship? I need you to join the division of the battleship. The battleship is the lead, not you. Maryland, join the... What? Why does it think that the Pennsylvania wants to be following a light cruiser? Hold on. Pasadena won't survive, so I really don't have to pay too much attention to that. Phoenix, just back off. Pennsylvania. You really thought this was a great idea to start launching torps, did you? No, I asked you to do that a while ago, but this is not entirely the right time to do that. What a mess. I really messed this up. Frederick, please join the battleship. No, you're not lead. Fuck's sake. Pennsylvania. Maintain course change. Frederick. Follow the Pennsylvania. Maryland. Follow the Frederick. Thank you. Inflicted severe damage to the Minagumo. Looks like the heavy cruiser, though, has survived. There we go. The Sanosawa has survived and is currently seemingly dead in the water. But still fighting against the light cruiser. That light cruiser, the Pasadena, which cannot use its smokescreen to retreat. So it's going to have to use, well, maneuverability, whatever's left. It's going to accelerate back up to about 20 knots. Frederick, do not screen. I want you to follow. Minagumo did send out torpedoes, but against who? Just try and keep turning to avoid any torpedoes that might have been fired. The torpedoes were aimed at the light cruiser, so it could be the Phoenix. Smokescreen ready. Let's smoke up and get out. Phoenix, follow the Maryland. And follow. There goes the Minagumo. Well done. First blood to the Americans. Next, Tsushima. Still got a decent amount of ammo aboard. I hope that the heavies can quickly get rid of that light cruiser. They are targeting it. There you are, flooding. That'll slow it right down. Torpedo tubes. Whoa, she got a lot of them. Alright. Is that carrot dangerous? 5 clicks only. No, it's not terribly dangerous. Just make sure she doesn't get any closer. If she does, then she'll become dangerous. Range 8.2. Start turning back. Especially since those torpedoes were probably going for either Pasadena or Phoenix. They were targeted at a light cruiser anyway. So I should be able to survive this one. She's smoking up. A lot of them are smoking up, in fact. Let's get the mains on something that I can potentially hit. Hold on, the battleships have been identified probably a while ago. 13-inch guns with an accuracy of 0.8 versus a heavy cruiser. And here's the torpedo screen, well, supposedly from Pennsylvania. Which I don't think is going to hit the battleship here. We've got the Zuikaku, Ryuho, and Tango. Tango is firing with a 0.7 accuracy, so not likely to do much. Good. With that light cruiser backing off, I don't really need to keep focusing that one down. Barely make these things out from a distance. Damage to the Pennsylvania seems light. Just a very low amount of structural damage, but it seems like all the guns are still operational. Torpedo tubes? I don't know about. Maybe. Now with a large formation like that, let's send an aggressive salvo of the torpedoes. There we go. Torpedoes off. The torpedoes are going for the heavy cruiser, but they are... well, apparently it thinks that the Osama is going to change course. And with it, it might just lumber into the range of those, or into the pattern of those torpedoes. The heavy cruisers are sorting out their formation. There's the Phoenix. Pasadena, by some miracle, is still alive. And is not actively getting targeted, it seems. Now, let's say that the torpedoes do not hit the Osama, because the Osama might be dead at that point. If that happens, then I'm okay with that, because the light cruisers, the destroyer, and potentially the Chokai can still run into those. There's long-range fire coming in from the battleships. Chance to pen, 50-50. That's a pretty heavily armored cruiser. 11.4 inch. Okay. That's a pretty well protected ship right there. Osama is completely turning around. In the meanwhile, a destroyer is getting messed up. Yugiri. Pasadena. Yeah, Pasadena is actively being targeted. Fall back if you can. Flooding against the Asana. Those torpedoes don't look like anything. The Asana changed course too much. Slow the Pennsylvania down a bit more. Allow these guys some time to catch up. And I mean the enemy fleet, not so much my ships. Because my heavies are fast enough. They're doing 34 knots. And ammo looks good. They still have 2,600 rounds left. Yeah, they're fine. Asana, more fire, more flooding, and there goes Pasadena. That was only a matter of time. Come on. Don't fight it. No more pain now. Only water. There she goes. Alright, heavies. Oh, and the Yugiri as well. Good work. I want the heavy cruisers to target the Naniwa and the Pennsylvania to go for the Chokai. Although the secondaries... Oh, hold on. Those torpedoes could still do something here. The Kinu has detected the torpedoes and is looking to avoid them, trying to change course. And now if the secondaries from the Pennsylvania engaging the Kinu, the mains are going for the Chokai, and the heavy cruisers are working over the Naniwa. Now this ship might just overcorrect if it turns back to starboard. No, it's turning back to port. Are you serious? Are you really serious? This is seconds from disaster right here. And this is the disaster. 9,500 damage. Courtesy of 1, 2, 3, 4 torpedo hits. Alright, that's one less light cruiser. Then we can work over the Chokai, which is also taking flooding. And since it is not very well protected, few bulkheads, and I think it has very little in the sense of anti-flooding capacity, it'll be gone almost instantly. Chokai, down. Next target, Yonen. Heavies are still following the Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is down to 97%. Judging by how many heavies and lights I'm sinking here, if I can start pushing through these, I'll then be able to start moving in towards the battleships. Yunen taking some hits. No, actually nothing. I thought they landed pretty close here to the Yunen. Phoenix, smoke up again. Generally the safest way for the Phoenix to survive this encounter. It's firing its 6-inch guns against the light cruiser. Although I'm kind of doubting the efficacy of that. Yunen on fire. Come on, strike her below the waterline. It will sink her very quick. Another hit. 90% struck. Bit more. Bit lower. Fire in 2 separate locations. There's the flooding. And now it's going to go downhill from here. Because the Yunen's going to slow down. 26 knots. Rudder damaged, engines damaged. She's now doing 25.8, 25.7. But she won't fight that flooding in time. Not if she's built exactly like her sister ships. Yep, she's gone. Alright, next target, Tsugiri. My plan, as you can probably tell, is just to string these guys along. Let them close into the battleship, but not too far that they are able to launch their torpedoes. And the closer they get, the more likely they are to get hit. And they're just steaming seemingly at full speed, trying to get closer. But not quite able to close the distance sufficiently to get dangerous, because their accuracy is pretty bad. And their chance to pen is probably worse. Let's send out a torpedo salvo here against the Chitose. Are there any heavies in the way? Yes. The Frederick's in the way. Where are the battleships? There's the battleship. Oh, hold on. I can probably torp that one. Yeah, still have plenty of torpedoes. Just normal launch if you can. Let's see if it wants to torpedo that battleship. Yep, torpedoes away. And off again. Oh, Phoenix is taking a load of fire. Yeah, she took hits from the 9-inch secondaries on the heavy cruiser. The last surviving heavy cruiser, and there she goes. Phoenix is down. I'm not sure what these destroyers are doing. They're just lagging behind severely. Tsugiri. Severe flooding. That's 4 corners of the ship that are flooding. Gone. That is why you put anti-flooding systems on your ship. And a lot of bulkheads. The battleship over here is getting really quite close. And she's starting to inflict more damage against the Pennsylvania. So let's turn towards the battleship. Potentially opening myself up to more fire from these other battleships, but they're so far away that I don't really consider them to be accurate. And neither does the game. There goes another light cruiser. The heavies can take care of the Tsushima over here. And hopefully the torpedoes, if I can still find those. Yeah, here they are. They might be able to sink this battleship here. So far, Maryland's taken a bit of damage from a 13-inch shell from the heavy... from the battleship, not heavy cruiser. The battleship. Why are you guys moving so fast? Pennsylvania is doing 17 knots. You guys are doing 34. I thought, actually, that if they just followed, they would assume the same speed. But apparently they are just perfectly happy plowing along at maximum speed. You have to manually set them to slow down. We have a torpedo in the water. Pennsylvania, come right. Torpedo is 43.5. Visibility is not great. 18-inch diameter. How many bulkheads do you have? Standard amount of bulkheads. She just keeps plowing along as she is. She's going to eat probably 2 torpedoes here. What torpedo launcher did you use? Probably the 2 on the port side of the ship. Would be my bet. Oh, she's too slow. Oh, the torpedo narrowly avoided there. Any chance I can spot that torpedo yet? Range 4.9. Torpedo only when safe. I'm going to save accurate, or save a few torpedoes by... Oh, there it is. We're fine. Alright, so I can swing back to port. Yeah, she's almost gone. Flooding will take her down. And meanwhile, the secondaries finish off the Tsushima. Good work. Frederick, Maryland. I need you to speed up a little bit because now you're getting too far behind. Oh, she's fighting it. 2 torpedoes have been launched by the port launcher, but the battleship's already turning. Torpedoes off. There's another destroyer incoming. Oh, there's more torpedoes in the water here. That could pose a threat later to the heavy cruiser. Need to keep a close eye on that one. Penetrated right through the bow. Secondary guns destroyed. That one. On the tall secondary barbette. Maryland is taking a bit of a beating here. Engines out. Engine 3. Yeah, she's taking fire from the battleship. There's another torpedo in the water. Come on, finish her off. It really doesn't need a whole lot more. Come on, you're point blank range. 1.6 kilometers, there you are. That's one of the battleships gone. Secondaries on the Amagiri. Main guns on the Zuikaku. I want the Frederick and the Maryland to also target that destroyer, because if the Amagiri gets too close, those torpedoes could strike a pretty big blow to the Pennsylvania over here. Light cruiser is wounded. The heavy cruiser back there is still fighting. Okay. Can I just finish that one off then? Because that would help. That takes out a couple of 9-inch guns. Accuracy, 14%. What's she looking like? Listing to starboard a bit. I just need to make sure that she starts flooding. That's really all that those ships need. Oh, good damage here against the Amagiri. I think that's the secondaries. And the casemates. Oh, the casemates aren't firing. Hold on. The casemates were going for the heavy cruiser. Come on. Target Amagiri. Bingo. Amagiri is done. Thank you, heavy cruisers. Flooding. Good luck with that. We've seen how well your sister ships fared against that. It wasn't very pretty. Next. Jesus, you took a big hit. Naniwa. 60 damage, or 80 damage, 60, 12. There's the rest. She'll probably be dead very, very quick. And then it's the Hagikaze, which seems to be just lounging in its own smokescreen. And once these threatening ships are down, threatening because of their torpedoes, I'll be able to start brawling the battleships using my torpedo tubes. Hagikaze is down. I want you guys to finish off that cruiser. Almost. Buoyancy is a big problem for her right now. She's listing to starboard severely. Still fighting though. Fire set, damage, more fires. Flooding. Buoyancy goes down to 20. To 15. She's fighting it though. Looks like she might have sealed some of the bulkheads. Frederick and Maryland have really done a good job so far. Doing a lot of damage. They've even been launching torpedoes, but I'm not sure if they've ever inflicted injury. What's the range from the Pennsylvania to the Zuikaku? 7.6? 7.5. I'm getting too close to all of them. This is not quite what I had imagined. I need to turn away. I need to start taking these guys on one by one and also let my torpedoes do some work. There goes the Sanosawa. Main guns versus the Ryujo. The secondaries, the 8-inch are almost done. But that's actually fine. Because those guns have done their work. They have taken out the secondary, well, let's say the escorts for the battleships. And I do not consider them the biggest threat at the moment. So if I can keep those guys at range by just maneuvering away, I'll probably be able to get a couple of torpedo hits on them and just whittle them down one at a time. Torpedoes away. I'm intentionally not targeting the Zuikaku with the mains to make sure that I don't accidentally inflict flooding and slow her down or damage engines or stuff. So it's just the secondaries that are working over the Zuikaku, and the worst thing that can happen is that I put her on fire. Maryland and Frederick also fire on the Ryujo. Torpedoes can fire out to a range of 8. I might need to get in there and take them down. Frederick and Maryland, I want you to start pushing in a bit. Because if we can land a torpedo tube or 2, or torpedo hit or 2 on the Ryujo, that's going to slow her down severely. Torpedoes here. Zuikaku is barely taking any damage. Pennsylvania is fine, having disengaged slightly. Let's turn her back out to starboard to make sure I can use the bow guns. I am running low on main shells though. 230. Despite going for increased shells, I believe. Oh, that's bad news. That means I'm going to have to probably torpedo brawl those ships. That's very, very risky. No permission to fire from the Frederick and the Maryland for the torpedoes. I want to do that manually. Pennsylvania, hard to starboard. We're going to have to brawl these things. Main gun, save ammo. Only fire when accurate. Torpedoes not allowed. Zuikaku looks to be barreling down on 3 torpedoes. She has not spotted them yet. And these are big torpedoes as well. 22 inch. Yeah. She's on fire. Come on. Gotcha. Flooding. Not enough though. It'll slow her down, but these ships have standard bulkheads, as opposed to the lower amount of bulkheads that the other ships had. Oh, torpedo in the water. Frederick, avoid. The heavy cruisers are working away on the Ryujo, with the assistance from the Pennsylvania. Torpedo in the water, hard starboard. I might be able to squeeze right through that gap right there. Yeah, that should do it. Zuikaku is still flooding and went down to 54% thanks to those torpedoes. Ah, I took it on the rudder. Or at least just on the aft of the ship. Frederick, torpedo tubes on Tango. You have bow and sterns, right? Yeah, here. Underwater tubes? Yeah. Water tubes. Alright, we're approaching a dangerous part of this particular encounter. Let's see if I can land some more torps against the Zuikaku. Torpedo tubes from the the quadruple are away. Off. Back in. Frederick has still not sent out her torpedoes. So far, it almost looks like we're scaring off the Ryujo. Oh, and that might be why. She wants a torpedo. There's another one incoming. Uh-oh. Maryland. Frederick avoided. Maryland. You don't want that one. You really don't want that one. Aggressive launch if you have torpedoes. Maryland. On the Ryujo. Normal. Pennsylvania, status. Pennsylvania is scaring off the Zuikaku with that torpedo salvo of her. She's down to 110 main shells. Torpedo incoming. 2 torpedoes incoming. This should kill off Zuikaku. She is turning to avoid, but not good enough. That'll kill her. Marilyn and Frederick. Nice! Ammo detonation against the Ryujo. Flooding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 segments. And I'm seeing one torpedo going for the Tango. Judging by the angle, that was probably launched by Maryland. Maryland's now taking a beating. Tango is taking flooding. There goes Zuikaku. Well done, Pennsylvania. Proceed. Ryujo also fighting the flooding. More torpedoes in the water. Hard to starboard for the Maryland. How's Frederick doing? A bit bruised and battered, but overall alive. Finish off Ryujo. Tango is still flooding. Ryujo is... If it proceeds on this course... No, it's turning away. It might have detected the torpedo here. But can she fight the flooding? I don't think she can. Come on. Nope, buoyancy is going up again. She is not dead yet. Increase the flank speed. I want to intercept that battleship there, the Tango. Another torpedo in the water. Maryland hard to port. Yeah, she's fine. She is perfectly fine. Come on, Ryujo. Stop fighting it. This thing has taken a beating and a half. Look at that list. Look at that list. Hold on. Such a pretty game. I know I say that almost every episode, but every episode I just look at the game in awe, going, Jesus. That must have taken a fair amount of modeling to get that level of detail in the ship, or in the ships in the game, and well, everything really. And yes, arguably the ship here should not be able to still fire torpedo or still fire her main guns. Not with that levels of listing, I suppose. A couple of torpedoes closing in on Ryujo. But she seems to be turning. I'm not sure if she actually avoided those, if she spotted them. But regardless... Nope, no torpedo hits there. Maryland still has torpedoes ready to go. Proceed to kill off the Tango. Frederick, this is still your target. Pennsylvania has no more ammo for her 12-inch, nor her 8-inch. She's down to 6-inch casemate and 6-inch secondary. That is all. And torpedoes. So those are going to be the main weapon now. Looks like they're both trying to run. Let's see, do I have a bow launcher on this ship? No, just a port and starboard. Alright. Increase the flank. If you can. We're gonna have to catch these guys before they make off. Torpedo incoming. Pretty poorly aimed, I might add. Pennsylvania speeding up to 26 knots. She's taken some battle damage, but really nothing severe. I have all my cruisers... No, I have... Now I have all of my ships and torpedoes off, so I can manually tell them when to launch and when not to launch. Keep a bow in profile. I know that means I can fire fewer guns back at them. But it also means I make myself a smaller target. Tango taking another couple of good hits, but the flooding seems to be mostly controlled. Ryuho. I've been saying Ryujo the whole time, but I think it doesn't really matter. Ryujo or Ryuho. Anyway, the ship is flooding again. Conning tower's been damaged, rudder's been damaged, engines are damaged. And a couple of torpedoes in the water. Maryland moving to avoid. Frederick. Fire torpedo versus the Tango. It only really needs one. So I'm hoping that the port torpedo launcher might be able to land that. It's only 1.5 clicks out. Oh no! Ow. Maryland probably will sink. Misplayed there. Yeah, torpedo away from the Frederick. There's no avoiding that one. It's too fast. I'm not sure if it's going to be the killing blow. Yes, it is. No, hold on. That was the that was the Maryland. There goes the Tango. Pennsylvania still charging in. The whole deck's been scorched by fire. But the casemate guns are still going strong. With 2,500 rounds of ammunition, we're not likely to run out of ammo anytime soon. Frederick. Hard to port. I'm going to try and land the starboard torpedo on the Ryuho. She's still fighting. She has ammo. But I'm not seeing any of her guns fire. Regardless whether they're aimed at the battleship or the... Ah, there we go. Or the heavy cruiser. Torpedo when ready. This is going to be over very, very quick. I just need one launch. Come on, angle, angle, angle. There. Torpedo in the water. And these are fast, boys. 62.5 knots. That's going to be the killing blow versus the very, very severely wounded Ryujo. Here it comes. Not as bad, but it did cause another flooding amidships. In one of the segments that wasn't flooded yet. Pennsylvania looks to be coming in to finish the job as the Frederick disengages to save its skin. Another couple of good hits. Torpedo destroyed. Where are the torpedo launchers on the Ryuho? Okay, so she does have a bow launcher. That's pretty serious. Torpedoes away from Pennsylvania. I might need to turn in, actually. All the way slowing down. I need to kill her before she launches another torpedo using the bow tube versus me. Frederick bouncing all the shells from the wounded Ryuho. Yeah, I got him. Looks like the Americans won this round, but not without taking losses. I lost a heavy cruiser and 2 light cruisers. The Japanese lost 4 battleships, 5 heavy cruisers, 4 light cruisers and 4 destroyers. With another spectacular torpedo impact and ammo detonation. That seals the fate of the Japanese battleships. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that scenario. Skulljaeger, thank you for drawing that up. For the next scenario, again, leave your scenario in the comment section below. The most upvoted section, or the most upvoted comment wins, in quotation marks, and is going to be the next scenario. Now, I know that a lot of people have submitted these things time and time again and haven't been picked, and I feel for you. I mean, you put a lot of work into your scenario, but I can only do so many videos, and I get a lot of scenarios. I'll probably get somewhere of 30 to 40 scenarios per video, and I can only pick one. So keep going, keep submitting, and maybe change your story a bit, elaborate on it, and of course being early also helps. If you're early, that allows your comments to get more visibility, and it starts getting upvotes, and it starts to snowball from there. So keep going, and who knows, maybe your scenario is going to be next. With that, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed that fight, and I shall see you guys soon for more Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts.